Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. The ways in which we perceive technology can be twisted, especially when it comes to electronic musical instruments. Sometimes groundbreaking cutting-edge innovation years ahead of its time just doesn't catch on, while we keep spending massive bucks on the primitive tech of yesteryear. Today we are going to talk about the MS2000. While Korg was a little late to the party of easy-to-operate VA instruments, the engine of this synth from, you guessed it, the year 2000 was destined to haunt us for decades to come. And it doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon. At the first glance, the MS2000 is ticking all the "why does he keep putting absolute classics on the show" boxes. Well, as you will see later, it actually gets quite some heat on the internet, mainly from four demographics: JP8000 and AN1X users, true school analog fans, folks who dislike small knobs, and ample polyphony enjoyers. Speaking of which, its humble four voices do the trick for leads, basses, arpeggios, and noises, but can be a problem for big chords and lush pads. Boutique users will feel the pain. The heart of the virtual analog synth engine are two oscillators with standard waveforms, one of them having not only two parameters for stuff like PWM or other oscillator shenanigans like cross-modulation, noise, and a sound generator for voice-like tones, but also a large selection of DW8000 style sample-based waves. Oscillator 2 is fully tunable and brings sync and ring modulation to the table. These basic building blocks of a synth tone can be mixed with even more noise and put through a distinctly digital sounding yet smooth filter, which comes in four equally usable flavors. The bread and butter set of modulators consists of two ADSR envelopes and two LFOs. Which is fine with me, just like the easy-to-use FX section with distortion, modulation, and delay. Although it is great to have a straightforward UI that lets you dial in simple patches in seconds, the virtual patch matrix is where the fun's at. Select a source-destination combination, adjust intensity, profit. The bitimbral structure of the synth allows for layers, splits, and triggering the timbres independently via MIDI. All this might sound familiar to you for a reason. A few details aside, this engine can be found in the coelocant of synth keyboards, the Microkorg. Patches can be transferred from one instrument to the other, and although the patches were in the same ballpark, they didn't sound exactly the same. What is more, the MS2000 has a few tricks up its sleeve the Microkorg hasn't. First and foremost, the Modulation Sequencer, which might have caused quite some mayhem on early 2000s dance floors. However, the Arpeggiator, external inputs and
Vocoder are sufficiently similar for my taste.
While most people will prefer the somewhat mediocre keypad of the MS2K to mini keys, the knobs of the Microkorg, albeit limited in number, are nicer to tweak than the tiny ones on its ancestor. The insurance policy fine print on the enclosure can be intimidating, there is some menu diving involved, and the processor for handling the UI seems a bit overwhelmed most of the time. Original MS2000s, the rec version and the slightly updated version B can be found for surprisingly reasonable prices. Thanks to Frosties Amp Garage for lending me this synth from the collection. The MS2000 is an easy-to-use hands-on vintage instrument that defined the blueprint for one of the most successful synthesizers of all time. Is it worth getting one, or is its compact offspring the more convenient option? You have already heard the MS2000 in today's intro tune. The results are not exactly spectacular, but the synth sits well in the mix. Analog members of the MS family are known for their characteristic filters. I wanna know if the 2K is up to the job. I think that's why people call it virtual analog. The digital flavor is more than obvious, but the synth is versatile and its sounds cut through the mix nicely. Trying to fake real analog sounds didn't work out so well. Let's embrace the squelchy overall tone and explore the instrument's multitimbrality. We're talking. Cranking the filter resonance really brings out the funky side of the synth, and the Modulation Sequencer is great for adding movement and texture. MIDI sync could be a little tighter though. The jams of today's episode were a bit raw. Time to add some DAW polish to the MS2000 sounds for some soothing cat content meets post-breakbeat, liquid funk, melodic drum and bass. If you have played a Microkorg before, and chances are you have, using the MS2000 for the first time feels strangely familiar. As expected, it is great for the infamous selection of genres and beyond, and traditional synth players will appreciate the full-sized keyboard, knobby interface and additional features. One question remains: is my synth collection in desperate need of an MS2000? Probably not, but I should definitely spend more time with my Microkorg. Thanks for watching and see you next time! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.